Hello, hello. My name is NicholassRivas. I talk about stuff and stuff, and today we're talking about Halloween and why people are so against it. As we get closer to Halloween itself, I'm recording this on 10/28. I love Halloween as a holiday. I love October. It's my favorite month. I love everything about it. I love the vibes. I love fall, and it feels weird. And I know I'm biased, but when people are so against it, I'm always like, why? Like, what did it do to hurt you? It's fine if like it's just not your speed. Um, People look at it and go, I'm not a big like spooky person. Fine, like it's whatever. But I'm more talking about people who are like against it. Like it's the devil's day. That stuff never really like sat well with me. Like I don't know. I feel like it's an easy thing to I guess just be against. Like, oh, it's spooky, look how bad it is. Like, I just feel like we've at this point have went way past this like satanic panic mindset. The cool thing with Halloween is that it's always been kind of respected and accepted even amongst people who I think would fall under the satanic panic. I had religious family members who were like cool with Halloween, crazy against holidays, or not holidays, like movies and shows that seem to be more like on the edgier side. But like Halloween was still cool because I guess it was sort of PG. It was never it was never anything like that crazy, right? And it hasn't changed. Like people aren't doing demon rituals more nowadays than before. Like so it definitely felt like it's more of the people like the people against it have changed than the holiday itself and how we celebrate it. I don't see a world where people nowadays are doing anything crazier than what was done before, and so it's just disheartening. I feel like for one, it could be religious radicalism just is on the increase. I don't know if that's an actual statistic, but it feels like that. It feels like you can't make hocus pocus today without people saying, "Oh, it's satanic," and I'm sure that was there back in the day, but I think now people have more of a voice to say that. I knew someone who worked on the Hocus Pocus movie, and they were um, the person I was talking to was like, "Oh, that's disgusting," and I'm like, well, "Why?" And she's like, "It's satanic." Like it's a Disney movie, and I know someone who. It wasn't like there's this cabal that you can't see. I know the person who worked on this movie. They're a good person, and a movie about witches and stuff isn't the satanic. It's a mystical story. No more dangerous than like a Calvin and Hobbes. It's fiction. Like it doesn't have a deeper meaning. Maybe like on like if you watch the first Hocus Pocus, maybe there's innuendos and stuff that like adults nowadays would be like, ugh. But it wasn't that it was like being malicious and trying to brainwash your kid. I think it was just a writer from Hollywood trying to be edgy and funny. I don't think there was any maliciousness that came with wanting to make a funny, stupid joke in Hocus Pocus about like virginity. Like, like I don't think there's a world where these people are thinking rational though. I don't think when someone says, "Oh man, I don't want to watch the new Dungeons and Dragons movie because there's demons." I don't think they care. I don't think they're really researching if this movie does. They just know that Dungeons and Dragon had this negative connotation, and it has to do with wizards. It's like when people get mad at like Harry Potter, like really Harry Potter. And maybe back in the day it made sense, but I feel like I'm still surprised when I hear people say it nowadays. And there's some validity to it. There's some people who are like, yeah, screw that. And I look at them like, come on, guys, it's Harry Potter. If there was this sort of malicious intent behind many of these medias and things, then I would kind of get it. But every time I see their evidence, quote unquote, like when I had that kooky person in my life who said like that Hocus Pocus was demonic, she showed me like sort of like a schizo post. Like it was like the three triangles in this scene is where I know for a fact this movie is demonic, and it's like that just looked like someone's gaffer tape, from behind the scenes just was left on set. Like it didn't look like an actual symbol was placed. And if there is this sort of like they're using symbols, they're not good at it, or these are some shitty symbols, or you're reaching like you're like reaching for straws, and I think it's more of that than there's actual symbols destroying our youth and the Disney companies trying to stop people from doing Christianity. Like that's that's how I feel with Halloween. People aren't really changing up how they do Halloween. It's been the same. People dress up, people get candy. It's fun. There's scary movies, either really crazy, edgy, scary movies like a Halloween or a Terrifier. And there's fun episodes and shows or people doing fun things on TV, media, and books that come with the spookiness of the show. So, like, of Halloween, like that, I don't think any of this is real, and people having this hatred is just they're letting their like religious fanatical stuff get to them, and they're free to say that I don't celebrate Halloween because I think it's demonic. By all means, you can do that, but I think it's just ridding yourself of something that is innocent. Because when I've had people, I was really offended by. I had a person in my life, and they said to me that, like, when I was telling them like what we did for Halloween, we went to Halloween Horror Nights. Did this, that. We went to a scary, the slaughterhouse at my town turns into a scary thing, and it's fun. It's, to me, it's not like necessarily innocent in the sense of like you would bring a baby there, but it's like adults having fun, and we're doing spooky, crazy things, but it's a haunted house, and it's meant to be like a roller coaster, not that deep, quick fun, and just goofy. And yet they turned it to something when I was telling them what I did for the weekend. Oh, we went to go do these fun things, and we went to the slaughterhouse and da da da. They looked at me like I killed their cat, and they were like, "That's disgusting. That is so. Oh my gosh, it's against my religion." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I don't care. I'm sorry that seems offensive to you. I didn't find it by any means offensive, because I didn't do anything offensive. When I go see a movie and they like go, oh, that movie. I told them I was watching Dungeons and Dragons, and they were like, Dungeons and Dragons? Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to put down your religious weirdness and listen to me as I'm your fellow human. I'm telling you, I who goes to church, I who help people stricken with poverty, I canvas for politicians. I'm pretty standard American young man who is not hurting anybody, just trying to make his way through this world. And you look at me like I'm just this like, butcher, like this serial killer. I'm not a Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm just a dude who likes scary movies. And that's what's always like pissed me off, is I always felt kind of offended. I always felt like I had to like defend this holiday and like people doing spooky stuff. Because they've tainted it. We have not. Like, if there's a gory, scary movie, oh, boo-hoo. That's always going to exist. That was existing before the 70s and 60s with, like, Cannibal Holocaust. If you're against that, I don't blame you. But don't, like, paint me with a broad stroke and say, like, you just want to kill and murder babies and da-da-da-da-da. No, it's a fun holiday. It's like a roller coaster. It's just a stupid, edgy thing that people do. It was no different when someone went to a Rocky Horror Picture Show, and now that's a little bit more accepted, but the sentiment was there. People were looking at that like, this is going to be the destruction of our youth. Elvis Presley went up on stage and gyrated a little bit too much for the fear mongering people, and that shit disgusts me. Like, we eventually grow out of it as humans, but it is really freaking annoying to like continuously still be battling this. And I haven't been alive for that long, but to see this like really felt like it never went away. And like, if someone says something or does something edgy for the sake of like Halloween, I feel like I've heard this story before. I've heard people and their disgust for spooky things so much that I'm just kind of like, I'm sure there's actual like people with valid opinions on this. I don't see it, and I just get annoyed by them. And I feel bad. I feel bad that like I'm so annoyed by these people. But I think I have every right to say like, this is ludicrous for me to like feel ashamed about something that I love. And it's also more popular at this point. It's Disney. We're people who like horror stuff are Disney adults. They're not like scary, edgy, or crazy people. They're not the Manson family. We're just a bunch of dorks who like scary things. And being part of like a horror community for, I guess the majority of my life, I've always felt this like ashamed, like I don't want to tell people what I do. Like, every year I go to a spooky Halloween thing, and I feel like people judge you on that. And now I'm like, I feel a little bit better with that mindset of like, I don't really care what people are um, are gonna say. But I mean, when I'm at like work, I'm scared of like what my colleagues think of me, what my peers think of me, all because I like a scary movie, you know? And I don't know, it shouldn't be this way. And sometimes I think I'm looking more into it than I should be. But I've had people say just crazy things to me about like, you like I think I was told someone that I like the Saw movies, and they were like, the only demented sickos like that stuff. And I'm like, oh, tell me how you really feel. Like, what? It's hard. Me. And I think many people don't realize that like they're being offensive. I feel like I've been oh, I do this is that, and like, oh, every year we go to the corn maze and we do scary stuff, and I felt like I couldn't talk about it. I would get some pushback, so it just felt like, I don't know, it felt like you couldn't really express yourself, and like there were some years I would dress up for Halloween, and I was the only one dressing up, and it's fine. I'm not expecting it, but to feel like, kind of like, are they gonna be okay with this? It's like, it's my thing. It's my holiday. It'd be weird if someone was like, you're putting a Santa hat for Christmas, like, but I think Halloween gets that stigma because it's a goofy holiday that has crazy people tying weird connotations to it. So um no disrespect to people who find themselves in this position of like, maybe they feel religious persecution and they feel very defensive, but I also do feel defensive of like, you tell me my fun hobby that I enjoy that's not hurting anybody is satanic and demonic and da-da-da. It just makes me like not want to tell you anything. And now I'm starting to get to the point where I kind of just want to push back and be like, no, I can enjoy this. You guys are the crazy ones. I'm being realistic here, that like, I'm not harming anybody. I'm not doing anything weird. Like, this is a fun, innocent thing. That being said, to end on like a lighter note, I do gotta say, I feel like the horror community, um, the enjoyment that I found in like nowadays with horror and the entire community and just people in general, I definitely feel like it's becoming more easier to find that group of people that like enjoy the horror space. I mean, especially stuff like Reddit. You can go like a con. I can't imagine like back in the day where you just couldn't do any of this, right? Like, is easier to find people, right, and easier to relate with people, and you go on Twitter and just have a discussion about Terrifier, which is something I don't think I could have done that long ago, right? So it's cool. It makes me happy. It is what it is. I think this is a good place to end it here. I feel like I'm just kind of running in circles with this, but thank you guys so much. Y'all have a good one, and peace.